This is the Lifedoo portable car camping fire pit. It's supposed to be easy to store and assemble, has a 1-year warranty. This can be used to take a barbecue with you or to be able to burn wood or charcoal in areas where it is forbidden to have an open fire. So with that in mind, this is 18 pounds shipped as it said on the label. We're going to go ahead and weigh this and see how that compares. Brought to you by the same company that brought the SUV doorstep, which I did a review on. I'll leave a link below. And real quick, I think this is revision 2 because this is what people said about revision 1. Obviously, kind of interesting quote there, but very heavy product. Lifedoo, no do. A bit expensive and there are no accessories. The airflow is not good. So they supposedly have fixed all that, and they say that every user is our designer. So let's go ahead and take this out. I've already opened it for the sake of this video and timing. But here is the entire unit, and make sure everything's out. One thing that I would like to see with this product, which is not included, is a carrying bag. Right now it's very easy to deal with, but once you start grilling burgers on this or steaks and you start having ash, it is going to be very dirty. A plastic bag is not going to last you very long. You'd like to have something sturdy, some kind of canvas bag to hold this in, so that would be a nice added feature. They say on their site that this unit is approximately 17 pounds or just over. And as it sits here on the table, it shows about 16 pounds. I've been getting about 16 to 16.3 pounds each time I weigh this. Not exactly the best scale, but it is under what their techs say it is, so that's good. It is still a heavy unit, but there is a fine line between having good enough thick steel that's going to give you a product that's going to last you, and having something that's too thin that's going to rust out on you in a very short period of time. But you can see there's very little flex in the steel. It is nice heavy gauge steel here. So you've got your two sides. You can see which side goes up by the handles. You've got the two end pieces, 3 of these rods. You have your ashtray to catch the ashes, a surface to grill on, and then this is what the coals or the wood would sit on while it's burning and provide airflow. So to set this up, it does not come with instructions, but they really aren't needed. The only thing you need to know is that it's a lot easier to set this up by putting both these side pieces on one and then attaching the other side. Now it does have 2 different angles. You can have it at a steep angle, or for grilling purposes you could have it at a wider angle so that you get more cooking surface. So we'll start with the wider angle. Like I said, I would attach both of them at the same time, and then from there you can attach the other side. And there are these tabs that have little notches in them so that they do slide down further and they connect. And now you have a very solid unit that right out of the box does not need any adjustments, and it barely moves. So very nice design. Here is where your coal rest or wood rest would be, and so that just sits there, provides plenty of airflow there and on the sides. And then here is your grate that just sits on top, and you can, put your burgers or steaks or whatever on here. And if you want to put a frying pan on here as well, you could either set it right on here, or they provide these rods for you, and you have 6, 7 slots to add these rods, and then you can put your frying pan or your cast iron pan or whatever here, pot, and have that sit there while you're using this section here. As you can see, the distance for the ash to fall is about 8 inches or so, and that does provide quite a bit of airflow underneath here, but that can also blow your ash. So again, be very careful where you set this up. The table would probably work well, but if you put this on the ground, obviously you don't want to have dry debris sitting around so that wouldn't catch fire. But that's what it looks like out of the box. Like I said, so far I'm pleased with it. Very easy to disassemble. I'll go ahead and do this side change the angle on this. And there you go. And there are two different locations for these holes, so that depending on the angle, you can put these in the appropriate slot. So that is the steeper angle, and still your unit sits on there nicely, but that'll provide enough surface area for grilling. But if you turn it this way, obviously at the steeper angle, you lose the sides and your surface area heat. So again, these would just go in here, or you can set them up further apart so that you could put something larger on there without using the grate. Thing to point out before I completely put this away is the dimensions. So your cooking surface area, this isn't at the steepest angle, it's opened up to the wider angle, is about 17 inches by 9.5 inches. So that's for the cooking grate. It stands just under 13 inches, 12 3/4 inches high. The footprint without the tray is 11 inches, and then the footprint with the tray and when you put it away is 12 3/4 inches by 19 5/8. The angle that you set this at doesn't matter as far as the overall dimensions, because it always sits within this profile. Even at the other angle, it only comes to the corner. So what you see in this profile on the side is the largest profile of the side measurements, and then this here, the overall width is 17.5, and then if you were to include the tabs, it's just over 19 inches. So nice compact design. I would say it's appropriate for most people. Now, it's not going to accommodate large families and huge steaks, but it's going to get the job done for the camper that just wants to go out and have a barbecue. And also it provides enough area that you can throw coals or wood in there and still have a warm fire going. So pretty decent design and a pretty decent footprint.
Do we have a flat stone?
Bad enough. Put it over the coals there.
There was two paper. I took two off. Oh my god.
Nice. Oh yeah.
You want to eat candy? Eat it. Hey, it's not too hot. Okay. Hey, Tristan wants to blow, so we'll make sure you don't blow. Control over. Perfect.
So after doing a really good job of cooking our burgers and having a good fire going inside to see how the unit would react to the heat, you can see that the grilling surface held up really well as the insert for where the coals sat on. So neither one of them had any flaking or anything like that from the heat. However, the sides were a little bit different story. You can see that all the paint started to flake off, especially towards the bottom. And that the unit actually started to warp. So you can see there that the unit was bent. Even though it is a relatively thick steel, it did start to warp on both of these side pieces, as you'll see here in a second. The end pieces did rather well. They didn't flake on the paint and didn't warp at all, but the longer pieces did. I think part of the reason for that is the notches probably helped with that, and then the notch near the handle is extremely thin, and then this one here started to flake on the other side as well. As you can see, the unit is very dirty, so a bag again would be very helpful for putting this thing away and storing it without a mess. But even with the warping, everything fit within the tray and still fit within the box. So if it had a bag, it actually wouldn't even be an issue at all because it does assemble and disassemble very easily, even with the warping. So I've made Lifedoo aware of the issues that I had, and maybe based on some other feedback that they've received, they have already started working on and are going to come to market with revision 3. So the things that I said that should be looked at is possibly lowering the overall unit to the tray so that less ash would blow out of the tray. It would also reduce the overall material and the overall weight. I mentioned that this is probably going to rust, which it has started to a few weeks later, and that would be a potential problem. However, it is in the area where it's going to have coals or wood, so that would not really be a problem. However, aesthetically it isn't going to look very nice. So for that reason, they say that they're going to change this to 201 stainless, and that'll prevent the actual rusting from happening. The other thing was, I said that they should have a bag, and that's probably been something that other people have mentioned, so they're going to add a bag to revision 3 as well. And overall, they said that the unit should also weigh less. I'm not sure how much less, but they did mention that it would weigh less than this particular revision. So they are serious when they say, UROD, you are our designer, R being the letter R. And they have taken the feedback seriously and have worked on revision 3, which will be coming out here shortly. So is this unit worth the $80 that it is on Amazon? Well, that's completely up to you. I think it's a great unit to have overall. It is a essential item if you want to cook or if you want to have a campfire in areas that you're not supposed to have open pit campfires. And even though I don't cook much when I'm out on the road, this was actually a really nice unit. So minus the warping, the paint chipping, and other defects like that, which actually didn't affect the unit overall, I think it's a very good unit. But there are some improvements that still need to be made, and they are working on those. So I'm going to leave the link in the comments as well as in the details, so you can take a look at this on their Amazon page and figure out if this is something that you would like to have as well. So please leave your comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.